There you go, boys and girls, mama and the babies. Until next time, jet out. Good morning, boys and girls, and welcome back to the southern wing of the Stink Bug Works. This morning, before I go into my newest harebrained idea, I want to talk about Big B, because a lot of the stuff I have right here in front of me relates to Big B's topic. And so, first of all, Big B, I feel you, man. I feel you, 'cause I've been there, done that, and it's frustrating. The first time I went there was with this boat's twin sister. When I first bought one of these from MHZ, they would install their rudder, their strut, and their drive system. That's where I first got introduced to the 2.2 millimeter drive. They had that on there. It was kind of hard to find back in those days. But one of the things they did when they put the strut and the rudder on this boat, they got the strut right dead smack in the middle of the transom. It was right in the middle. It was perfect. And so I ran this with that 1107 new motor. Now let me talk about that for just a second. That's a pretty high kV motor. It's like 4,000 RPM per volt, but it has a ton of torque. I mean, just a ton of torque. And it'll spin really big propellers. At the time I was running the twin sister of this thing, you couldn't get really big propellers because it used the 4 millimeter screw-on ones, and there was one and only one CNC prop available, and it was available through, of all people, MHZ. So that's what I ran. The problem is it had propwalk. Not quite as bad as Big B. Now, Big B's, when he hits the gas, that thing just scoots over right now. So I think part of his problem is the boat is so long that he's got a big long lever arm between the propeller and the end of the sponsons. So an inch of pressure here on the propeller on this long arm is equal to a whole lot of pressure. You follow what I'm saying? So it takes less on a bigger boat to cause that effect. On my version of this, here you go, Big B. On my version of this, where the drive line was right down the middle and it prop walked with a really torquey motor, my fix was to put a tapered shim between the strut and the transom and kick the strut over a little bit to counteract that. So as you goosed it, the angle of dangle would want to move it to the right, and the prop walk would want to move it to the left, so they would kind of cancel each other out. It's a delicate balancing act, but it's not irreversible. It's merely a sheet of carbon fiber that you taper, drill a couple of holes in, test it. If you don't like it, throw the carbon fiber thing away. Now, then Big B brings out his ironclad rigger. Now, that's how I found Big B, is because I bought that boat from the manufacturer. Now, the manufacturer calls it the Dona, D-O-N-A, Dona. What a dumbass name. And so, after Big B works on it, it's absolutely ironclad. And so, I had that same prop walk problem on the ironclad, and it ran the same, physically the same exact motor that was in this thing's cistern. It likes such a big prop. And I'm pretty sure after listening to Big B's discussion and his video presentation, I'm pretty sure that he has it right that the rudder on my rigger is too small. So I've remotored the rigger with a more appropriate motor so I could get the weight and balance. That was one of the problems I had with the new motor, was getting it to balance. So I swapped motors out. But Big B, I'm definitely going to put a bigger rudder on, and who knows, I might make it out of this. Seems like I have plenty left. Okay, now that I've addressed Big B, because he asked for help, that would be what I'd look at. Change this drive angle and bigger rudder, you're already there. This thing, I know how I'm going to solve the problem. I know how I'm going to solve the problem, and I can use the TP motor with or without this clamp-on style mount. I can use the little short new motor. I may go back to the little short new motor because of the higher KV. This thing with a lower KV almost needs 3S, but I can't get, even though I can get two 2S batteries in here, I can't get a 3S battery in there. So it makes this more desirable. And then with 4 batteries, I'm not going to be hurting for current. So here's my plan, boys and girls. Are you ready for this? I'm struggling with, now imagine if you would, that there's my strut and my cable, and it's in the boat and there. I've got to get past that somehow with the motor, and then once it's hooked up, it has to be close to that. So if I want the motor way up here, this would have to be way up here. Well, then how would I get at anything? So these have to follow each other. You get my drift? That, wherever this goes, this has to go. Unless I can put some sort of spacer between here and here. Now, what would that spacer have to do? That spacer would have to take the rotational motion from the motor and give it to the shaft, which means the only way I could make it work, boys and girls, are you ready for this? Is an extension shaft. If I have an extension shaft, now let's follow me out. Follow me out. I make a carbon fiber plate. Actually, 2 carbon fiber plates. I make 1 carbon fiber plate like this, drill some holes in it, put countersunk screws, fit it down nice and neat in here, and I have countersunk screws sticking up. Exact size and shape of the plate, it might just be 2 little strips going across, Okay, then this motor base will have 2 holes that'll drop down onto those bolts. It will have a motor mount. It'll have a motor mount on one side, at whatever the appropriate height and dimensions are. And then over here, it'll have a block with a ball bearing, a very high quality ball bearing in this block. And then just using a straight shaft connector. The little 1005 is a 5 millimeter shaft. So you get a 5 millimeter straight coupler, a precision 5 millimeter shaft readily available, and a precision 5 millimeter ball bearing in this little thing here. And then your shaft will stick out and your coupler will go there. And now so hey, your coupler's here, your motor's over there. And you got a couple of bolts here holding this thing in, and you take this whole assembly and you slide it in there, clearing the stuffing tube. You slide it in there, drop it down on the bolts, and there you go. So this, I think I know where it'll go, and it'll go on 3S, and you guys will like it. This is back to the new motor. So, ideas for Big B, ideas for me. What do you guys think? Until next time, jet out. What? Oh no. Hi, boys and girls. Just a quick addendum to today's video. I just now broke my cool neck strap, so I'm holding it in one hand, so I only have one hand. Couple of things I forgot to mention about my little carbon fiber motor mount plate that's going to hold the motor and this extension shaft and the bearing and the like. I can play with the geometry of that plate and push the motor way far forward in here. And here's another deal. Remember, this whole center section is offset in the wrong direction. So I have my motor as far that way in this space as possible, which means I will have empty space on this side. The center of the motor is going to go over here somewhere. So I'll have space on this side that this mounting plate that I'm making here that holds the motor can also hold the speed control, and I should be able to get the motor and speed control in at one group. If not, then I can easily move the speed control. And so this mounting system will accommodate all the plumbing, all the wiring, everything, so it'll just be a drop-in, which means I could make one plate for the new motor. I could make one plate for the TP motor. I could make one plate for the Brand X motor. Now, am I going to do that? No, but I could make two of them. It'd be kind of fun being able to just drop them in and see the difference. Anyway, until next time, jet out.